Now we are making another ball player video today, and this one is going to be one that I'm more happy to make. I finally was able to get Diamond Archetype, the Mechanical Man, in MLB The Show 21 for my Road to the Show / Diamond Dynasty ball player. So let's go ahead and enter the screen. And before we even jump into here, we're going to be addressing some bugs that I know, and I repeat them in each and every single video because I still get the same comments. So yes, I do know that stats are not being tracked for missions when you play Road to the Show. A couple of fixes that people have tried and troubleshooted that has worked for them is only having one loadout, deleting the rest, and also changing the difficulty level back to dynamic. Another bug, which I experienced personally, is when you go into your appearance and you change the appearance of your player and you exit out after saving it. Once you go back into the loadout screen right here, unfortunately it resets it back to whatever the default was and does not keep the same appearance you had once you originally made the created player. It's unfortunate, but every single time you exit out of the loadout screen, you just have to go to appearance, set it back to how you wanted it to be, and then save it once again. It's very annoying, but until we get a fix for that, we're just gonna have to do that each and every single time. I also know of the bug that once you enter Diamond Dynasty, your player is a 65 overall bronze card. That is going to be addressed in an update coming very soon, and as of right now, there is nothing to go ahead and fix it. So unfortunately, we're just gonna have to deal with that for the time being. The player card, it does not represent your player's true overall or even their true attributes, so don't be distracted by that. And then when it comes to pitching and adding a fourth pitch or changing your pitching arsenal, I'm not too sure on how to do that, to be honest with you all, since I've never created a ball player that has been a pitcher or a starting pitcher in any of my previous MLB The Shows. I know that in Road to the Show last year, you could have added a bigger arsenal, but because this is basically intertwined with Diamond Dynasty, it's probably a slippery slope, because in Diamond Dynasty, they try to restrict created players as much as they can when it comes to overall and the pitches, etc. So they might be restricting it only to 3 pitches. So when you hop into Diamond Dynasty, you don't have an overpowered Road to the Show player that can throw 5 pitches and have the funkiest delivery in the world, which is where the problem of intertwining Road to the Show and Diamond Dynasty and having only one ball player essentially comes from, in my personal opinion. But let's talk about how to upgrade your overall, how to change your position, and how to go ahead and see what you need to do in order to upgrade your archetype. So when it comes to the loadout, I have shortstop as the name of the loadout because I was forced to take the shortstop direction. And you might be asking yourself, asking me, what do you mean forced? Well, I originally wanted to go ahead and make my ball player a catcher, but unfortunately, once you complete the catcher program, which, look down to the bottom left, it teaches you or tells you what button you have to press in order to see the program. Once you complete the catcher program, it gives you 3 archetypes, and none of these 3 archetypes are a continuation of catcher. It forces you instead to either take the center field route, the shortstop route, or the third base route. That is very unfortunate. If we go to Sparkplug, it's going to have its own separate program. Each archetype has its own separate program, and then it's going to go ahead and give you, once again, 3 more options, 3 more positions. And as of right now, there hasn't been any player through the comment sections or any player in general that has found a silver, gold, or diamond archetype for catcher. The only ones that have been found are for shortstop, which I'm currently using, third base, left field. Those are the only ones we know of for sure as of right now. I'm positive that if you pick the second base route or center field route, you would most likely get an outfielder that's going to be a diamond, and a second baseman / first baseman that's going to be a diamond in terms of archetype. As of right now, the only one that we know for sure does not have a silver, gold, or diamond version is catcher, which is very unfortunate because in Diamond Dynasty, where I like to create my player, is at the catcher position. So how do you change your position? You can go ahead and toggle R1 top left. It tells you which one of the 2 to toggle, and then when you're looking at the primary archetype, on top of the overall, it tells you what position that player plays at in terms of primary. And then yes, you can see in the preferred positions under Sparkplug on the right hand side where his secondary positions are. Now, although those are his secondary positions, it does not mean that he will get the same animations as if they were his primary. He's going to drop severely in terms of fielding, and when you switch him to catcher, let's say for example, he's going to be dropping a lot of balls, meaning it pops out of his glove and you'll have to throw to first base if it's a third strike. If there's a runner on first, you're going to have to shoot second base. And then when it comes to blocking pitches in general, instead of getting blocking animations, he actually stands up and lets the ball go between his legs, hit off the backstop, and then you either get lucky and throw the runner out at first base, or the runner advances to second base. So when it comes to changing your position, all you have to do is press R1 and then go by the positions. If you do not want to have anything equipped, you just go ahead and make sure that you select once again whichever was the first one appearing, because whichever is the first one to appear, for example, you see Mechanical Man. If we go to position, it's the first one to appear. It's the first one to appear because it's the one that we currently have in use. So if you want to unequip it, just press X on that and then it'll set you back to the base level. So how do you go ahead and change your position? Well, it goes by archetype. So Speedster is basically a center fielder. Then Sparking is a shortstop until you get to gold archetypes. Then the two gold archetypes, which will lead into two separate diamond archetypes, is the Wizard and the Mechanical Man. For each and every single position, there is going to be a gold archetype exclusive and a diamond archetype exclusive. So for shortstops, it does not have a bronze archetype, surprisingly, but the catcher one eventually leads you to a shortstop silver archetype. So in an update coming soon, they said that they will be fixing the archetypes issue, and hopefully that means that they will be adding a bronze archetype for every single position that will lead you to a silver archetype for that position that you play, and then it will vary as you continue. For example, it will lead my bronze catcher archetype into 3 archetypes for catcher that are silver, where I can either be a contact hitting catcher that's balanced in terms of fielding, a power hitting catcher that has a really good arm but no fielding, or a balanced catcher in general where I have good enough contact, good enough power, good enough fielding, and good enough arm strength. And then it leads me to the same 3 options for gold, and then whichever one I select for gold is the one that I'm going to get exclusively in diamond, meaning only that card. So once again, that's how you go ahead and change your position. You can go to each and every single one and see which ones it pertains to. Now, how you upgrade your overall in terms of ball player, you have to check the archetype. The higher the archetype, the higher the overall is. So a 73 overall is the base overall if you just have a diamond archetype. As you equip more and more perks, the overall should get higher and higher. Let me go ahead and unequip this one, and let me go ahead and unequip this one. So a diamond archetype gives you a base of a 70 overall. I believe that this will also be addressed, because if you are a diamond archetype, you should be minimum 85 overall, because that's the base for diamond. So I believe that's going to be addressed in the future in terms of an update. But when we go to position, what you want to go ahead and do, especially if you're a hitter, is equip the best perks available. To me, the best perks that I have available are going to be all of these gold ones. So I'm going to go ahead and equip each and every single gold one, and you can see that I went up from a 70 overall to a 73 overall. Now, if I would not have equipped power, let's say, and I would have actually went ahead and tried to equip another fielding perk, it actually would have boosted my overall even more, dependent on which perk I selected. And this is because, dependent on your primary archetype, whatever are the 3 focuses of that archetype, the more you have of it, the higher the overall is. So for example, when we view the program, or not view the program, if we selected the Mechanical Man and we view the program, we go all the way to the right and we see that the Mechanical Man is one that focuses on fielding, contact, and power. So the more fielding you have, the higher your overall will be. The more contact you have, the higher your overall will be. And the more power you have, the higher your overall will be as well. Now, unfortunately, that does not translate to arm strength, as your arm strength is arguably going to be one of the worst ones. And if you press triangle on this same section, you can actually go ahead and check your arm strength, which you can see is a 40 for my created player, or you can't actually see it because I'm blocking it, but it's actually a 40, which is horrendous, especially for a shortstop, and especially if you were looking to play him at a secondary of a catcher as well. So we're out of luck until we go ahead and get a catcher archetype as the primary. What I would suggest you go ahead and do is, if you're looking to play with a created player slash ball player in Diamond Dynasty, I wouldn't waste my time on it just yet. I would wait until they actually announce an update and the update goes through, and then I'll test it personally to go ahead and make sure that there is a silver, gold, and diamond archetype for catcher, and then from there we can continue working. Now when you go to the player card, don't be distracted by the attributes shown, as they do not actually represent how it looks inside a game. If you want to see how your player looks inside of a game, then you head into Road to the Show, and your overall will adjust to what you actually are, because in Road to the Show it actually adjusts as you continue playing and gaining attributes to what your true overall is, as opposed to Diamond Dynasty, where it will just show you a 65 overall player card, not even a 73 overall. As I've said previously, each time you go into Loadout, it resets your appearance to the base appearance you had before you started upgrading your archetypes. I'm not sure how to fix this. Hopefully this is announced once again in one of the updates. And then this is how you equip equipment that you go ahead and purchase in the community market. You go by each section that you have purchased and you go ahead and equip it. The importance of equipment is it gives you upgrades to attributes, or it increases attributes dependent on what the equipment is and what it gives. So a chest protector gives me +4 in terms of blocking, and you will not see this reflected on the player card. You will only see this reflected once you are actually inside of a game. For example, look at these contact numbers. It's stating that I have 66, 66 on both sides, and then if we go to the player card and we toggle the attributes, it's going to say the same thing. We have 66, 66 on both sides, and then +19. I'm not sure if that is what has been increased because of the archetypes, but I'm led to believe that's the case. So we go into Diamond Dynasty, where yes, you will see that my created player is actually a 65 overall bronze, despite it saying it's 73 overall in the other screen. That is a bug that I hope they fix as soon as possible. And let's say we go to Conquest and we just want to go ahead and face the Cleveland Indians. We go and select the Cleveland Indians. We face them on All-Star. We pick whichever pitcher just for fun, and we're not even going to enter the game. We're just going to go down a Bhlademyst, which is my created player, and you will see that this is how the player actually looks once equipment is taken into consideration. So when it says 66 +19, the +19 must be what is added to it because of equipment. So that's why you see an 85 on both sides. In general, the attributes are not too bad. What really hurts my player is the arm strength. So if I were to get a balanced catcher archetype that has all around 75s, let's say, in terms of fielding, reaction, arm strength, blocking, and then in terms of contact and power and vision, it has 75s, let's say. With equipment, I'm at least able to push it all the way up to a 95+ and make the player an even better player. Because I had to get the door and lost my train of thought. There you could see that the equipment actually boosts it by a lot. And then if we go back to our created ball player in the player card, it might actually be representing what we're getting with equipment. So that's why you see the +19, +14, +10, +11, +6. And that's why, even though you can't see it, well, actually you can. You see the +8 in terms of arm strength. And then when you head into an actual game, you do get +8 arm strength. So you're gonna have to balance your ball player out in terms of what equipment you buy, what perks you buy, and all of that, because how we lose arm strength, in case you were wondering that as well, it's based on the perks. This perk is called Contact 7. It improves my contact versus both sides and vision, but it subtracts my fielding and speed. Then Fielding 6, it improves my arm strength, my fielding and reaction, but subtracts my vision. Fielding 7, it improves my fielding, accuracy, and reaction, but it actually takes away 14 from my arm. So that's very impactful, to say the least. And I don't understand how it's a fielding perk and it actually hurts you more than it actually improves you. And then my power perk actually gives me power against both sides. It subtracts my clutchness, it subtracts my fielding, and it subtracts my reaction. So you're gonna have to find the best perks that balance everything out in terms of your attributes, and then buy the best equipment possible for each and every single one in order to go ahead and make up for each and every single attribute that has been impacted negatively by those perks that you go ahead and equip. But that is going to be all for today's video. Hopefully this is the final ball player video I make until we get a diamond catcher archetype, or until I start leveling up a diamond catcher archetype. But with that being said, as I said previously, a bunch of cards probably popped up throughout the entire video. Make sure you guys go ahead and check those playlists out, and then click on the channel community tab, interact with me there. More Bhlademyst, subscribe to my other YouTube channels. Have a blessed day and night. Stay positive, stay safe, stay blessed, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace out.